All right, boys and girls, HonkyTalk podcast listeners. I'm excited today because today is the 9th episode, and we're here at the Ruston Visitor Center with Miss Tori Davis.
Welcome to the show,
Thanks for having me.
and happy Memorial Day.
Yes.
All the veterans, and some gave some gave all. Amen to that. Well, Miss Tori, we're glad you're with us.
Happy to be here on this rainy Memorial Day.
Rainy Memorial Day, I know, but sometimes when it rains, it pours, baby, and we're going to pour it all out for you today. So here's the kicker. Here's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk everything about Ruston Visitor Center, where you're located and all that for the people that may not know that and what you can experience here when you come in. Also, we want to talk to you about the Peach Festival.
Absolutely.
So kick it off, Tori Davis, y'all. Give us a spiel. What's going on here at the Visitor Center?
Yeah, so here at the Ruston Lincoln Visitor Center, we have, all the information about everything that is Ruston, Lincoln Parish, and beyond Louisiana, all of Louisiana. So we are basically just here as Experience Ruston. We promote everything happening in the area, from events, attractions, new businesses. We just always want to make sure that, the people of Ruston know what's going on and have a great experience when they're here, but also our visitors, of course. And nothing draws visitors like a huge event like the Louisiana Peach Festival. So we have our hand in a lot here in the community, but definitely the biggest thing that we help put on is the Louisiana Peach Festival, which is celebrating its 75th anniversary this year on June 7th.
Wow. 75 years. June 7th.
It is one of the longest running agricultural festivals in the state. So
Wow.
it's a pretty cool, long legacy and agricultural history here in Ruston and Lincoln Parish. The peach capital of Louisiana, which people are shocked when we travel and tell people that we've got incredible peaches here. But, that North Louisiana soil is something special.
Yeah. You usually hear about like Georgia peach and stuff or whatever, but I've been living in Ruston for 19 years this year, and the Peach Festival has been huge every single year that I've lived here. But what amazed me was like the diversity of people that actually show up to this thing. I used to work retail at a gun shop here in Ruston back in the day, and like people were coming in all the time, but like, yeah, we're in town for the Peach Festival.
Yeah.
And I got people like British people, like African people, like legitimate, and it was crazy. This is like a tourist location this time of year.
It's a melting pot.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And I mean, I think that's a testament to the longevity of the festival, but also you can't deny that amazing college town influence that we have. We've got people who were at Louisiana Tech 30 years ago who kind of one of their homecomings is the Louisiana Peach Festival. They come back for it every year. And international students and people from all over the area. So it's a big day for our community. It's, with last year's single day festival brought in over 27,000 people with a $1.6 million economic impact to our local businesses. So it's something that we care a lot about because not only is it it's fun, it's a good time, something for everyone in the area to do, but it's a massive day for our community as far as economic impact and for our small businesses, especially in the downtown area.
What's the cost? Is there a cover charge to get in? And
Nope, it is totally free and open to the public. We actually made that change last year for the 74th annual. We took over the festival, and we being Experience Ruston in partnership with the city of Ruston and downtown, we took over coordination of the festival in 2021, kind of in that post-COVID era. The festival was at threat of maybe disappearing or not being what it was, and we again, the economic impact, the quality of life factor that it brings, we didn't want to see that happen, so we were able to take it over, and we've seen tremendous growth since 2021, and one of our goals in our kind of 5-year strategic plan was by year 5 we wanted to make it free and open to the public the entire day. And we were able to do that by year 4. So, of course, couldn't thank our amazing sponsors enough. B1 Bank is our presenting sponsor. They were last year and this year. And they've been incredible in seeing our vision and wanting to make it as accessible as possible. Because, I mean, you guys know if you have kids, you take them to a festival or an event. And if you got a couple kids, you're a family of 4, by the time you pay admission and everyone gets a lemonade and a snack and, it adds up quick. And so we wanted to be sure that it was really accessible for everyone coming to experience the event in the community.
that's all. So when you come into the festival, let's say if you wanted to get a lemonade or stop by a food truck, and or whatnot, do they buy tickets?
Nope. So it is just you pay with the vendor. Pretty much everyone accepts, cards, cash, of course. But no, we try to, again, we're trying to limit as many barriers to entry and experience as possible. So trying to keep it easy on everyone. So nope, you just pay at the vendor, and everyone accepts. I think everyone now accepts cards. I mean, we're getting to that place, except for peach ice cream. You must have cash for the peach ice cream. Ladies over at Beta Sigma Phi.
That's a great thing too. I think I like that because I know you go to festivals, and like you said, by the time you even go you just got into the festival, you're doing this and doing that with kids. Then you have to go stand in a line to get tickets.
Yep.
And that can be frustrating with people with kids and
Yeah.
and going to festivals and things like that. I mean, that can be, you're like, oh man.
Everything that you described, I have a family of 4.
Yeah.
And I've been a part of some festivals in other locations, and what you described is y'all trying to change to make it easier for families and the experience. I think it's a great thing that y'all are doing, because I have dealt with the whole ticket line and all the stuff.
Well, and I also have a family of 4, and we just went to a festival a couple weeks ago, another huge Louisiana festival, really fun, great legacy. But yeah, we stood in line for the tickets, and then there were the rides, right?
Yep.
So my 4-year-old is demanding that we must go on every little kiddie ride, and so it's like by the time we spend a couple hours down at the festival, I've just been standing around in the sun watching her go on rides. My 2-year-old's angry because she can't go on the rides,
Right.
and $100 later, we're like a corn dog and a lemonade, and here we are.
Yeah.
So that's something that we've tried to be really intentional about, is like our kids area is really focused on art and experiences for kids. So everything in Kids Alley, which is going to be in the Sexton parking lot this year, so that parking lot right down from Ponchatoula's and Sundown,
Right.
Everything in there is free.
Wow.
So, and that's, again, our local civic organizations and nonprofits have come together to do crafts and interactive activities. And so, you're not going to have the arm pulling and begging to ride the ride and do this and get the cotton candy and all of that, because that whole area is free. And there's an entire stage dedicated just to the kids. So we've got everything from cool science experiments, Lady Chops. I don't know if you know Lady Chops. Elizabeth Vito. She does cool interactive percussion demonstrations and gets the kids really involved. We've got karaoke. I mean, it's going to be a really fun time down there. But again, trying to keep it super accessible and affordable for families, and just eliminate that whole thing where you have to argue with the children about what they're going to ride and the treats they're going to get. And
you don't have to stand and waste time
Exactly.
at the ticket line.
yes.
I know one thing, about festivals that even if you have kids or not, maybe just want to go and get out and go get a good walk that day and just go see the sights, right? Well, by the time you spend there, you're wasting time. You're taking time away from the artists that are there, the vendors, the crafts people, and all that stuff.
Absolutely. And that's our main goal. In addition to it just being a great economic driver for our community, it's a showcase of local talent. The rich talent that we have here in North Louisiana is just unparalleled. I mean, we've got people who, especially in our arts market, you see it. We've got fine art artists that are coming in, people who do pottery, people who, crochet. I mean, it runs the gamut. Leatherworks. So our arts market is incredible. We've got over 75 arts vendors this year. They'll all be over at the historic fire station. So it's incredible to see that display and variety of art. And showcase local talent. And then, of course, on the stage all day, kicking off at 9 a.m., we've got a lot of local and regional talent that'll be playing for us from 9 a.m. until 10:30 p.m. Another just great showcase of the talent that is in our area that is just unparalleled.
That we talk about it all the time on the podcast because it's music-based, in the backing part of it.
Absolutely.
We talk about all the time from west to east, this whole I-20, corridor, if you will. I mean, there are so many people that are big time or just regionally or could be nationally, world renowned, all that.
Absolutely.
They're fantastic acts to go see, especially in the live music. I mean, there's actors, there's, artists, people that paint, photographers that people don't even realize. And you brought up a good point a while ago with Louisiana Tech. Man, there's people that do stuff at Louisiana Tech that are world renowned that live right here in Ruston.
Yep.
From photography
incredible.
and all kind of stuff. Yeah. It's really cool. So who's your, who's your big name person you got coming in? Who's closing? Who's the closer?
The closer this year, it's a little bit of a repeat, but not quite, is the Band of Heathens. So they are a good old just rock and roll band out of Austin, Texas. What I love about these guys is that they have stayed fiercely independent throughout all the years. They are incredible. If you've heard, the song Hurricane, it's I think maybe like a platinum single at this point. So, they've had incredible success, but they've stayed really humble. I got to work with them a bit last year. So we were supposed to have them for 2024. We made it all the way throughout the day. It was a beautiful, gorgeous day in downtown Ruston. And then right about the time we were supposed to start getting them set up on the stage, the bottom just fell out. The lightning wouldn't stop. We were pushing. With the lightning delays, it was like we weren't going to be able to start till 1 a.m. So we unfortunately had to cancel them as the headliner last year, but they were super bummed about it. We were super bummed about it. So we got them back on board for the 75th annual.
That's cool that you were able to get them back too, though.
Yeah.
How'd that work out? Did you try to seal that deal right then?
Very quickly, yes. Yeah, we've had them, which is funny because usually I can, again, just the local talent, I keep a running list of, okay, here's some guys, some bands that I want to, come play the festival over the next couple of years. And it's, I always said the lineup is like a little puzzle, getting people just right at the right times and a mix of genres. And so usually that part's the easy part, the kind of my daytime sets. And then the headliner's always the one where I'm like, oh my God, what is, you got, it's a hard piece to figure out. And so it made it a lot easier this year. I flipped it. So I've had them secured since, late 24 and then filling in, kind of going backwards was nice.
Could you give us a little maybe insight? Do you have anybody that you're working for next year?
Always scoping things out. I've got a couple on the list.
All right, you got to hold them to your chest, huh?
Yeah, I got to see. We've got to finish out the year. Our goal, because it's not a fundraiser for us, we as the Convention and Visitors Bureau and the city, our goal is not to make money off of this event. Our goal is to just put on a really quality event for our residents and visitors and make sure that it's a great day for our vendors. And so if we break even at the end of the day, we're happy. If we make a little profit, we put that right back into what we're going to do for next year. So it is always a little bit of a waiting game to see, okay, how do things flesh out this year? What's my entertainment budget going to be like? But I've got a couple people in mind. Always taking suggestions too.
I like to see Brent Cobb come over here.
Brent Cobb, okay.
Or Adam Hood would be great.
Adam Hood.
I'm to the list.
The Future Birds, I don't know. A lot of people don't know about the Future Birds.
I haven't heard of them.
They're not really big and famous, but I really like them.
Hey, I always can work people in. Especially, I love to find, Band of Heathens is an Austin band. They don't necessarily have ties here. I think something about the song Hurricane makes them feel like they're a little Louisiana.
Well, sure.
But I try to find bands especially who have a tie, to Ruston or Louisiana, like some born or based musicians.
Right.
So always open to that.
Sure. Well, good answer. All right, you won't tell us. Let's go. Keep it to your chest.
It's a surprise.
So let me ask you this: if somebody wanted to get involved, like maybe through a vendor or a food, I guess any kind of vendor, maybe arts, crafts, food, anything, how would they do that? Where would they go to? Who do they ask for?
Yeah. So for this year, everything is set in
Gotcha.
stone, being this close to the festival. But lapeachfest.com, we have a contact us page, and that has every email. So if you're interested in being involved in the arts market, there's an arts market email. If you want to be involved in the lineup, there's a music email. I will say in the last couple of years, again, we've really tried to make a quality event that focuses on regional talent. So, art, music, food are the big three for us. And so it's gotten really competitive because we're working in a small footprint. We want to keep it downtown. We want it to be beneficial for our downtown merchants. And so we can only grow it so much. We also are a planning committee of 4 people. So we've got some committees that help us do all of that and make it happen. But it's a small team running a very large event. So all that to say, it's gotten pretty competitive. So we have an application period that'll kick off in January of 26, and that'll run January through March. I like to try to have my bands done by then. So I would definitely say if you are interested in being part of the lineup for 2026, reach out to me, send me your music samples, music@lapeachfest.com.
Also, if if you were wanting to be a sponsor,
Absolutely. We love a sponsor.
where would they go to?
Yeah, same place.
Okay.
There's a sponsor page on there. We again, everything for this year is kind of all tied up. We've had to print the T-shirts and get all that done. But definitely for next year, and I think this year's going to be a really great big year, especially it being an anniversary year. I think
Sure.
we're going to have some massive crowds, and excited to see how the festival continues to grow. And we're trying to grow with it. We've got a little bit of a new footprint this year, trying to expand the festival and kind of move linear throughout downtown Ruston. So we'll go all the way from Railroad Park, and we'll have activities going all the way over to the historic fire station right there at the base of the Bonner Bridge.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's going to be great.
Any where could people find, besides your website, your social media sites?
Absolutely. So we post a ton on Facebook and Instagram. Again, LA Peach Fest is our handle everywhere, Louisiana Peach Festival. So especially, on Facebook's a great info source. We've got everything happening around the event. So, we say it's a single day festival because that's when like the music and the arts vendors and everything are just on that Saturday. But there's stuff happening all week long. So like one of my favorite things is the Peach Culinary Crawl. So all the restaurants feature special peach menu items, whether it's a cocktail, a dessert, an appetizer. You can get savory, sweet cocktails, all the good stuff. And so, it's when you get your sundown peach daiquiris in and all that stuff all week long. So we get a full menu that we'll be posting soon. But that's always one of my favorites. And then there's like, the sidewalk sales, the rodeo, the 5K, the parade. So the parade's going to be this year is actually going to be on Friday evening at 6 p.m. So we're excited about that. A night parade for Peach Festival. I don't know if we've ever done that. So it should be a good kickoff to the weekend.
Sure.
But so there's stuff happening all week long. We post all of that on our social media and then, of course, on the website too.
Last thing here. You mentioned the Sundown.
We love the Sundown.
Yes, we do. And I want to thank the Sundown and Heath and the gang up there for always being our home base for everything HonkyTalk, podcasting, blah, blah, blah. And they always have the daily lunch special, so make sure you go get the daily lunch special all the time. And tell your friends, tell your coworkers, y'all get up there and grab you a burger or a barbecue sandwich. Or I know Brother Bo Smith over here loves the turkey melt.
Yep.
And what's that
beat
club
that
you
turkey
get? What's
melt.
that club you get?
It's
It's the BLT. I think it's a BLT club or something.
yeah, it's a club po' boy.
Club Po.
but it's got everything.
Yeah, it's got everything. That's what it is.
With extra pepper jack.
Extra pepper jack. Now, Miss Tori, the queen of the Peach Festival and Lady of Ruston, what do you you told me a story. Let's just give a good shout out to Heath and how how he really complimented y'all and how I think the listeners would enjoy that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, when we took over the festival in 2021, one of our main goals was we just wanted to bring it back to that just like homegrown, hometown community festival that it had been for so long. It had kind of gotten so big and there were a lot of outside vendors that came in, and we just, we wanted to make it a little bit more true to like our community and our community's identity. So we've made some really intentional decisions, the vendors, the music, like we've talked about. And so we've felt a shift in the vibe of it. But, it's hard to know when you're inside of it. Like, is everyone experiencing that? What do people feel? And so one of the biggest compliments, Heath Hightower, when he was working hard trying to get Sundown ready to open last year. And so the doors of Sundown were open on Peach Fest Day, which I know was like a bummer to the community because so many people kind of start or end their peach experience there. But he was working hard to get it done. And so he said he was taking a break, going to go grab some food. And he hadn't been to the Peach Festival in years. He's like, I can't even remember the last time I've been out to the Peach Festival because it had kind of become something that locals didn't want to do. They planned their vacations to be out of town for Peach Festival because they didn't want to deal with the headache of it. And so he said he walked down to Park Avenue, going to check out, the food trucks. He listened to some music. He's like, I just had that feeling like it used to have, like just this real cool community, artsy, great music, great food. And he was like, I just was so impressed by the way that it had shifted. And that was such validation for us, someone who's been in the Ruston community a long time, who's seen the festival look in different ways, and someone who appreciates, obviously, live music, local business. So that was a good little ego boost for us that, we were moving in the right direction. And Heath gets, you guys know this, he gets community. He gets having people involved, having, community voices being heard in and around his place. So it was great to hear his voice on that. We appreciated it.
Yeah, thank you, Heath, for all that you do. I know Tori, she was proud of that. We were talking briefly before we started about that. I said we got to give him a shout out about that.
Absolutely. any moment I can give Heath a shout out.
Well, one more time, Miss Tori. Tell them where they can see your information. Obviously,
lapeachfest.com. We've got the full schedule of events out there, and I do want to let me do a quick lineup rundown because
please.
I got to give my local musicians who are working so hard on this a shout out. So we're kicking off everything with the Ruston Band, which is a big community band for us. So that'll be fun. It gives a good, again, that hometown vibe. So that starts at 9 a.m. And we love to do, feature local up-and-coming young talent. So following them, we've got Elise Claire Causey, who's incredible. Zebb Rogers is going to be taking the stage after Elise. I know, it's going to be good. So
and our next guest.
Exactly.
How did we? This is wild. Go ahead. Sorry, Tori.
No. And then we've got Haley Brooks. So we've got some good Shreveport artists coming in. Haley's always a crowd favorite. She's got the voice of an angel, that one. So one that I'm really excited for this year is LAJ and the Zydeco Backwood Boys. So we actually got to hear them over at Grambling's Homecoming Yard Fest this past fall, and they had such cool energy and such a cool vibe. I was like, we got to get these guys on the Peach Fest stage. So excited to be having them this year. The Lovers, I didn't realize how many Shreveport peeps I had this year, but the Lovers are over in Shreveport. They're a husband-wife duo. The harmonies are just unreal. And then Chancey Neal, super excited, kind of a hometown girl, hometown favorite. She's done, she's an incredible country artist. She has been in Nashville and all over the country, touring with different people. So she's going to be, I think, going to pull a really good hometown crowd. 4:30, we'll have Hidden Tracks. They're my go-to 90s cover band. Nothing like cutting loose and singing some 90s throwbacks. And then our opener is going to be Mr. TaylorMade and the TaylorMade Band, another incredible group out of Monroe. They've got great energy, big band feel. And then we'll end it with the Band of Heathens. But before the Band of Heathens, we're going to have something really cool this year. In celebration of the 75th annual anniversary, we're going to have a drone show, which if you have not ever seen a drone show, I don't know that we've had any really in North Louisiana. So this is going to be really cool. So they actually use drones to make these really neat light shows in the sky. So it'll make everything from peaches to trains for downtown Ruston.
That's pretty cool. That's
it's
really
going to be
cool.
neat. So we've got a day full of amazing talent, lots of activities. So yeah, definitely come June 7th, downtown Ruston, and you can find the full schedule and everything else at lapeachfest.com.
All right, Miss Davis.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for letting us have you. I know you're a mama. You're
Anytime.
another expected mama again.
Hey, these little peach babies, we've got to raise them up.
You got to. Well, hey, it's good to be here. Bo, Trey,
Bo.
anything?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Take us out, Bo Smith.
Honky Talk Podcast. It's honkies with a kick.
All right, we're live back here again at the Ruston Visitor Center with our 9th episode, our second half of our 9th episode. We got Zebb Rogers coming in here. Big shout out to Zebb, baby. Ow. That's my dog from Kickapoo, Louisiana. Real place, guys.
It is a real place.
And but big thanks to Miss Tori Davis, the queen of the Peach Festival, Ruston. So y'all be sure to come to the Peach Festival all week, especially on June 7th. So Zebb, you're booked at the Peach Festival this year, aren't you?
I am. I go on at 11 o'clock that morning, so I'm excited about it.
Hey, congratulations.
Be my first year playing it.
Oh.
And anniversary year that they're having. It's going to be awesome.
Wow, and the 75th, too. How'd you get on that, man?
Just luck and Miss Tori Davis.
Oh, wink.
Aren't you the third act?
I believe so, yeah.
Three times a charm?
Yeah.
There it is. And that's a good spot to do at a
It
festival
is.
like that,
It
too.
is.
About
I
11
know.
o'clock.
I'm
Crowd's
excited.
warmed
I
up.
think I'm going to bring the family with me, so make it just a whole day of it, so it'll be fun.
Well, Zebb, I've known you for years. I know Trey and Bo, they've heard a lot about you. Y'all have met before through the years, too. Tell us a bit about your musical journey and your influences and things like that.
Well, I guess I'll have to take you back to the beginning. I grew up probably about 35 miles from Ruston down in a little town called Saline, Louisiana. And my dad, he played in a band for a long time called the Southern Knights Band. And then my mom, she sang at church and even sang some at the Dixie Jamboree over here through the years. So I always grew up in a musical family. used to go to my dad's gigs with him and stay out late at night. Some of the places I'm not sure if I should have been in or not, but I was kind of in the back corner watching them play. And as I grew a little bit, they gave me a little guitar sometimes at events I could be at and put me on stage playing a guitar that was not plugged in. So just grew up around it. And so I always kind of sang and stuff. But as I got into high school, I got really into poetry. I was a bit of a hopeless romantic starting out. I thought that chicks really dug poems. Turns out they didn't at all. But then I got to learn, and I said, well, basically, writing songs is just putting poetry to music and doing it. So then I got a Guitar for Dummies video and started watching that, learned how to play guitar, learned my first 3 chords there, and the rest is kind of history. So I guess the time I actually decided to pursue music was I mainly did like karaoke, sang for a while, things like that. Everybody knew I could kind of sing, but I never really played guitar. So back around, I guess 2010 or 2011, my dad, he finally, he ended up getting sick with cancer and he ended up passing away. So not to take this into a sad realm, but it just kind of showed me, hey, if you want to do things, then do them, because you never know what tomorrow brings. So I really started getting into songwriting heavily, wanted to learn the craft more. I started pursuing it, and I knew I wasn't very good at it. I could put stuff together, and I was like, that sounds good, but it's pretty one-dimensional. So I found this online course at a place called Songtown USA, and a couple of hit songwriters had started basically teaching people how to put songs together and how to kind of hone in your craft and learn from the people that were actually doing it and putting hits out on the radio and some songs I admired. So that kind of helped elevate my writing a little bit from learning from some of those, and started doing gigs, done a lot of cool things, and here we are today.
What's some of the coolest things that you've been doing with music, or maybe somebody you opened up for, or you yourself, or with your band, anything?
Well, yeah, I've been fortunate through the years. I got to be a part of a TV competition back in I think it was 2016. I was part of the McDonald's Sound Off competition. Got to play that. I made the final. I can't remember whether there's 10 or 20 of us on that show, but that was a really cool experience. Open for some people I've always admired, like Tracy Byrd. I don't know if you remember legendary writer Mr. Kenny Beard, who wrote "If the World Had a Front Porch," stuff like that, all the way from Ringo, Louisiana. Got to open for him and some of his crew, Joe Nichols, Maddie and Tay. I guess you could technically say I'm an opener for the Band of Heathens coming up.
Yeah.
I'm an early opener that
You can
day.
add that to your resume.
Yeah, put that on the.
Hey, I'm on the poster, so it counts. Yeah. So, yeah.
That's great.
But no, just some really fun stuff, and got to, I know some of them say don't meet your heroes, but I met a few people that I really admire, and it turned out to be a really cool thing.
Wow. Yeah, I know. We were in Nashville. It's been a few years back, and we was standing at the. I think it was the. I don't remember the bar name, but there was some acts there, and the Band of Heathens went on last, and I told Zebb what I was doing. He said, "Hey, look, if you run into the Band of Heathens or whatever, just tell them I said hi. Tell them Zebb Rogers your biggest fan, and tell them to call me, because they probably don't remember me and all that. It's like a running joke with me and Zebb, but." I said, "Oh, yeah, I'll tell him." Well, I was standing there, and I'm standing right there with her. We're sitting there talking to him, and Gordy and the gang, and I saw this poster, so I bought it for Zebb, and it was a surprise for him. So when I got home, I said, "Hey, I got you something." He said, "Oh, what'd you get?" I did this, and he's like, "Oh, man, thank you." He appreciated it. Well, the other night we were talking. I said, "Hey, this is cool. I bought you years ago this poster because Band of Heathens, he's always been a fan of Band of Heathens, and then you're going to be on the same stage on the same day, and your name's going to be on the poster too. We need to get that framed and put like in your office, like Wham Bam, or whatever." So I just thought that was pretty cool for the HonkyTalk podcast listeners and or viewers.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always admired
He's
their
always
music.
been a fan.
Yeah, they and I guess it's kind of always been that way. Like the bands I've always been attracted to always have that real Southern flair like they've got, but just have really beautiful harmonies and put together. The instrumentations, it's real music. It's not sampled stuff, and they've always stayed true to their sound and just been consistent. And so I've always been a huge fan of theirs.
Yeah, me too.
Did you ever know them in Nashville? I mean, Austin?
No, I didn't over there, but I've seen them a couple times.
Yeah.
I never did run into them or anything. They've commented on a cover I did on
did you?
Facebook.
Yeah. Which one?
Jackson Station.
Jackson Station, yeah. I like playing that one with you. I've been staring at his drink holder over there.
Those come in handy.
Yeah.
Coffee or beer. Today it's coffee.
Just take your pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, cool, man. Well, it's great to meet you today and everything, and just kind of hear that background story. But you got some music out that you actually currently have, right?
I do. Yeah, the latest project I released was called Sounds of Kickapoo back in, I guess, late fall of last year. Bo and I actually have a song on it together called Fishing that 107.5 here in Ruston has actually been spinning for us some, so I really appreciate that.
I actually came across your TikTok of you playing that song. Did you? Did you?
Yeah, I think there is one up there.
Yeah, you actually were playing it. But yeah, it came across my For You page.
Well, there you go.
Famous.
Yeah, they played a couple off that album. I had Miles Run Out. It's probably my most streamed song to date. Off of that one, I had another one called Only the Blood, which is a Christian song that I wrote. And so, yeah, I write a mixture of music. I like to mix it up. I grew up, in church and Southern gospel and stuff, so I've listened to everything from Merle Haggard, Hank Williams Jr., Otis Redding to whatever. So all that stuff has kind of influenced me through the years, and I've always loved songs with a meaning. So I'm a sucker for sad songs. But actually, one of the songs on that album, Miles Run Out, was actually inspired by one of my favorite writers and artists, Adam Hood. He was actually posting a reel one day on his page, and it was about his Ford Flex that had just ran out of miles. I think it had 400 and something thousand miles on it. It broke down, so he had to go car shopping. So anyways, just whatever hit me from that video, watching it made me kind of relate it to life and thinking about where I want to be when my miles run out. So it triggered that song, and it's actually done really well for me. So
Wow, what a great play on words, and that's cool.
yeah,
Well, they played that for a good while too on 107.5 too, didn't they?
they did. Yeah,
Or now
they
still
did.
hear it every now and then. Yeah, it's a very good song. To me, it's one of your best. Not your best song like that. I mean it like that because I love a lot of your stuff, but the production on that was good. When y'all recorded that, it just had that oomph in it with the piano going in and out and things like that coming in. Thought it was really cool. Well done. Very well done song.
Yeah, I recorded at a couple of different places. My first project back in the day called Songs from the Heart, Jimmy Wooten actually recorded that for me at his studios. And then since then, I've kind of started recording with Steel Record Studios down there in Grand Cane. And a couple of those songs, like I mentioned, I wrote one of them with Bo, but actually Miles Run Out, I wrote with another local Ruston guy, Ben Allen Curry.
Yeah.
We wrote that song together, so that was really cool.
Yeah, those guys at I know Jimmy Wooten and Kyle out there. Yeah,
Kyle Root.
Root. Yeah, great guys.
Yeah, super talented, man. They
yes.
can play anything and great at production and everything too. So
Yeah, that was back quite a few years ago when I first met those guys. I did a couple of projects with them, and I was just very impressed with their musicianship and their sound engineering.
yeah,
They got the total package for sure. So huge shout out to them.
yeah. It's always been cool because like when I hear a song, like even songs that I didn't write that people have sent me, I always try to listen to them from a production standpoint, even if it's just a simple guitar vocal.
Right.
And even though I can't push the buttons to do all the stuff, we have a great working relationship because I can tell them kind of what I'm looking for. I want this sound, kind of this style, this song, and it may take a couple of back and forth, but it usually doesn't take much. And I'm like, yep, that's exactly what I was talking about.
That's great. That's great. The most recent single that I put out it's like I'm a sucker for sad songs too, but I wrote one about my boy, and it's like that was the first time I like got in a studio and was able to connect with somebody like that. It's very important that the synergy works out really well, and then you can communicate, and then they'll hear what you hear, and when it connects, and then I think that makes just great songs happen.
It does.
Yeah.
That's what brings them to life.
Yeah, that's what.
You know.
Well, and production does a lot for it. It can totally change the dynamic of the song.
Yeah, you go in there thinking you got this, but when you get the full production thing out, the song's totally different than what that you had in mind when you wrote it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
It brings a whole new life to it. Well, how are your streams? I know a lot of us, we talk about Spotify and pushing social medias and things like that. We was talking on the way over here, Zebb. How many streams do you have for Miles Run Out?
I think it was 326,000 or something. But I mean, that sounds like a lot, and I guess it is for
Independent, putting them out yourself.
I mean, I'm proud of it. I really am. Anytime somebody's listening to your stuff and willing to listen to it is great. But I know some people hear that and think you're making tons of money from it. And it's like, no, it didn't even cover the cost to make the song. But I'm happy for it.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's where they get us these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Spotify's rich though.
Well, we've talked about this numerous times. All four of us have.
Yeah.
You kind of dang if you do and dang if you don't. You put it out on Spotify, but if you don't put it out on Spotify, people don't even. They're like, "Are you on Spotify? You on Apple Music? I mean, what are you on?" They don't find you legit.
Yeah.
And they think, like Zebb just said, a lot of people have this misconception of that you have all these streams and stuff, but they didn't do anything.
Yeah, and
necessarily.
It's a double-edged sword. Like I said, you got to put it out there for people to listen to it. But even more so important than that, I mean, music isn't my way that I necessarily make a living. It's something that I love to do and I pursue. And used to, I thought about moving to Nashville and chasing the neon rainbow and all that stuff. But I mean, I should have done it probably a lot younger. I'm 40 years old now with a family and responsibilities, and my children's dreams have now become my dreams. So I kind of still chase mine in my own way. And I think that's important to stay grounded. I mean, to each their own, whatever way you need to pursue it. But I look at it like the experiences that I have. I still have a lot of fun playing music, and sometimes it's more fun because now I can kind of pick and choose what I do and go about it my own way,
Right, you're not held. You don't have you're not having to do this for a living or taking every gig that somebody throws at you to chase the dollar around.
Yeah, and one of the Christian songs I released a while back, a guy actually messaged me through there. It was a guy I went to school with a long time ago, and he said, "Man," he said, "I didn't have any clue that you even wrote Christian music." He said, "But I just wanted you to know that this song helped me make it through this week." And I was like,
How cool is that?
That's so cool, man.
so
Yeah.
regardless of how many times it gets streamed, the fact that song touched somebody's life
Just one
and helped
person.
them was cool.
Yeah, just that one person. Sure.
That's what it's all about right there.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that. I love how you put that. And that's kind of like, I guess we all really do that is like, so you're independent.
Yeah.
And we are too. And it's like, what I love about the independency is that we have the opportunity to do that. And then the songs that we create, we do connect with on a personal level. I feel like a lot of these corporate, maybe Nashville babies, they've lost that touch because they're mass producing them.
It is, and you have freedom to write what you want to write, to release what you want to release, and I mean it's really cool because I've had people reach out even from overseas, and I think one of my songs was playing in France and in Germany, and had people actually reach out for me to do radio tags for their stations over there.
Yeah.
And, I don't even speak their language, but they're playing my song.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
they go out and out in the European clubs playing Zebb Rogers.
They better been fishing.
Yeah.
I hope it's jamming somewhere. So.
Yeah, exactly. But you mentioned what do you do besides music then?
Man, I've worked for American Electric Power or SWEPCO for a long time, 18 years now. I started out working on the line crews, changing out electric poles. I made it all the way to a journeyman lineman, so that's my trade.
Yeah.
And then done several different jobs with them through the years, and now I'm their safety guy. So I guess a safety guy, probably not the most liked guy in the industry, but that's my day job now. So it's fun because I get to mentor and teach because I always wanted to do some kind of teaching or coaching. So I kind of get to fill that role now.
That's so wild because that's what my dad does now.
Oh, wow.
He works for Energy.
Okay.
And he did the lineman thing for a long time, and then he ended up becoming the safety mentor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
that's cool. Yeah, I got friends that work for Energy, and it's weird. Like most of the people I graduated with growing up in Saline, we kind of we split and did the Y. So some of us moved west up towards Shreveport and East Texas areas, and then some of us went to Ruston and Monroe. So that's kind of where we went, which I didn't have at 28 in my graduating class, so there wasn't a whole lot of us to split.
Well, we know you're a great dad. Well, I know you're a great dad.
That's to be determined.
Zebb's got a beautiful wife, Brittany. Big shout out to Brittany. But also, Zebb plays in his church, and I'm going to tell you this because we like to tell funny stories or just whatever. So Zebb calls me a few years back, and he goes, "Hey, I'm playing at church in the morning. I'm going to be leading praise and worship." I said, "Really?" He goes, yeah. I said, we'll be there. Well, Zebb lives about 40 minutes from where I live. So we had to get up extra early that Sunday morning. We get all the way out there. And at the time, Ella was like 2 or something. Me and Dace get out. Ella's getting out. She got sick and throws up all over herself in the church parking lot. Okay. Well, like the greeters at the church, it's, how you doing? Come on in. And they're just being, all joyful and full of love and all that. And they kept trying to like wave me in. And finally I'm looking, I'm going, I can't come in. My daughter just threw up on them, but I always thought it was funny that
We welcome all.
yeah, we welcome all. I was like, no, you don't want this to come in here. She's like, it's gone. But thank God Ashley knew how important it was for me to come support Zebb. And so me and Dace went in there, my boy, and we sat in there and listened to his praise and worship. We went to leave, and they're like, where you going? Are you okay? I'm like, ma'am, I just told you.
My daughter peeped on
But
herself.
yeah, she puked on herself, Yeah. But so you've been playing in church for how long now?
Well, I guess we kind of started going out there since in COVID because it kind of, we were members of a different church, but it was kind of far away. So we started going to fellowship around 2020. So I guess I probably started playing there around a year later. So about 4 years now.
Well, that's crazy. It's been that long. Yeah, that's about right.
I love it. And, there's a lot of musicians around the Shreveport area that live out there. So some of them actually play in and around church with us sometimes there, like Shay Bailiff from Shaliff.
Yep.
He's out there playing with us some. And so it's fun to get to not only go out and play gigs and see each other around town, but then we get to come together and worship together. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
With that being said, too, so he's a good dad, a good husband, got a pretty wife, beautiful two beautiful daughters. He's a working man, blue collar, real deal. But you're also a scholar.
Yeah.
Tell the people, Zebb is a trick. He's a bag of tricks, man. You get Zebb to open it up. You learn a lot about Zebb. Go ahead. Tell him you're scholarly.
Well, I guess when you talk to me, I guess I get bored easy because you would think I'm a 60-year-old man, all the different things I've done. But when I first got out of high school, I wanted to be a coach. Well, everybody was like, well, that don't make much money, so you might as well just go in the medical field because you got good grades. I said, okay, well, I'll try that. So I went to nursing school, made it all the way to clinicals and stuff. I was like, well, I don't really want to be a nurse. All right, well, I'll go sell beverages. So I worked for a distribution company for a while. Then I went to be a lineman. So after I did that, I was like, what an idiot. I never finished college. So I was like, I'm going to go back and do that. So I got my general studies degree from BIPSI. And then when I got this safety job, I was like, well, I need to do something that's going to help me in my career. So went back, finished in January of last year. I got my bachelor's in occupational safety and health from Columbia Southern. And then, Lord willing, next month I'll finish up a master's in business and marketing from the same university.
Yeah,
so
congratulations.
thank you.
I'm tired of having these real smart people on these shows. I say that because we had General Keith Patterson on here, and you're talking about a man who wears overalls and boots and a bandana. He looks like Hulk Hogan, head up, but not his rest of his body. Shout out to Keith. No, we love you. But nobody knows that he was an archaeologist. He's got a master's or degree in arts and painting and history and criminal justice and all this. And you look at him, you're going, what?
Yeah, what?
Yes.
A true Southern gentleman.
Yeah, true Southern. Yeah,
Well, I would have never guessed that.
right, exactly. But
And I've only met him a couple of times.
no, but
yeah.
he's a brilliant minded
Yeah.
dude. He's written like a 320-page novel. He's just a wild cat.
Served in the military.
Yeah, in the Navy, has crazy stories about being in the Navy, and he was actually a medic in the Navy,
Yeah.
a corpsman or whatever.
I think it's cool. Like I love to learn new things.
Right.
So like I feel like if you're not moving, I just sit there and I'm like, well, what's next?
Yeah.
What's next on the agenda? And me and my wife, we laugh sometimes because when she was pregnant and fixing to have our second child, I felt like the scene from Step Brothers where they have did we just become best friends? Because we were like, hey, we're going to go back to school at the same time because she went back and got her bachelor's in nursing and we're like, yeah, let's do it. We're idiots. We just had 2 kids. Let's all go back to school and do this for the next 4 years. So,
And y'all two are
Anyways.
funny about it too. Zebb is one of the funniest people I ever met. One of the greatest compliments Zebb ever gave me. I don't remember who it was, and you may not remember who it was. But Zebb one time told me, he said, yeah, I was talking to so-and-so the other day, and they were asking me, how do you hang out with Bo Atkins? Like, how are you and him, how do y'all even get along? How do you handle all this?
Complete opposite, huh?
Yeah. And what'd you tell him, Zebb?
I told them you were the yin to my yang. And they was like, what does that mean? I said, well, I guess sometimes people have preconceived notions about me because I do have resting beehole face every once in a while. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not, but I do love to laugh and have fun. But I have more of a kind of, I guess, dry sense of humor is what you'd call it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more of a one-liner when you don't expect it.
Yeah, his is really wet.
Yeah. So you know how Bo tells me sometimes like he has to be the dad on the trip, and I'm like, you being the dad? Because I think I'm the dad on the trip.
Yeah.
Sometimes when me and Bo are
Somebody's got to
together,
keep him straight.
Well, look, I'm just gonna kind of back him up. We went to Nashville to record an episode, and he was daddy.
I drove the whole time, except for the way back.
Except for the way back.
So
But-
when he tells me that, I'm like, well, God, they'd probably hate me then.
All right, so also, y'all didn't know this about Zebb either. Bag
I'm
of
really
tricks.
organized on some things. Like I like things to go
he's
smoothly.
Yeah.
I can't wing it.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, he's not a winger. There's no. He was tripping out earlier when he said, we get in the car, we're about to leave Bossier, and he goes, hey, it's Memorial Day. Have you checked to make sure that Sundown's going to be open? I said, why wouldn't they be?
I know.
So you're calling.
I called him. Yeah.
And then I call Tori and I go, hey, you probably know more than we do around Ruston. I mean, are they going to be open? I felt so stupid. I had to look at Zebb. Zebb's looking at me like going, where's the camera? Like,
That's just my normal face.
she's like, and like 3 seconds later, she's like, 3 days ago, they posted on Facebook, they're going to be closed for Monday. I'm like, son, I said, all right, cool. So what? Zebb's like, oh God, here we go. You know? I said, well, we're going to figure it out.
We'll figure it
And
out.
we figured it out.
Well, and it is like a monsoon today. So luckily, Tori came through. She
Yes.
got the venue for
Big
us.
shout
So,
out.
yeah.
I'm telling you, she's the queen of Ruston. She's the lady. She needs to be the first lady of Ruston.
Yeah.
We're going to give her a crown.
We're calling it now.
All right, so tell them about this, though. Y'all didn't know this. Our brother Zebb, for you HonkyTalk podcast listeners, brother Zebb, great dad, great husband, musician, safety
building
man,
me way up.
scholar. He also ran for office.
Well, I lost.
It don't matter.
Yeah,
you
he
had
still
the
ran.
ambition
To run.
to go and run for office.
I guess it's one of those things where you're like, what's next?
What'd you run for?
Police jury.
Police.
Wow.
Yeah.
And who helped you on your campaign?
Yeah. Bo did go through a neighborhood and help me hand out flyers.
A
one day,
neighborhood.
and-
That's probably why you lost.
I talked to everybody that lived out in Kickapoo that lives in a trailer. You get to,
we did go through a couple of neighborhoods. We was trying to shake hands and kiss babies, but
hey, we did it though.
you know, not everybody greets you with a smile. But
They do
luckily-
not.
Yeah,
Luckily,
that's
most
right.
people are willing to talk.
Some of them will greet you with a gun.
Yeah, just let them know I'm not here to sell anything. I have no vacuum cleaners.
One person goes, "Oh, I mean, I can't drive. Can you come pick me up?" I said, "I guarantee you, Zebb. I bet Zebb will bring you in there, and you can put his name on it."
Well, and it's funny when they put you on the spot too. Like you're like, "Hey, I'm so and so running for office. Well, what you gonna do about the stray dogs?" And I'm like, I hold on, one thing at a time, man. This is who I am, you know. But I love animals. So, anyways, you always got that one angry person. Somebody did something to him, and it wasn't me.
Right.
But-
Well, where you playing at this week? You got anywhere you playing this
Well,
weekend?
No, not this coming weekend.
Okay.
But you can see me June 7th. Will be the next time I play at the Peach Fest at 11 a.m. Yeah.
Now, so tell us. Let's get into this a little bit more. Tell us about some of the other albums you have out and songs and some people that you've written with.
Yeah, so I guess the first full project that I did, well, I actually released an album and took it down a long time ago. It was called Just Getting Started, which, if you listen to the record, it did have some cool things on there. I recorded that one with a guy named Will Hughes, and the production was really great on it. He did a really good job bringing it to life, but my songwriting was very, very mediocre at that time. So I ended up, I would like to put some of those back out. But some of them need a little work.
Like
you
a
know?
re-release or something?
Yeah, there was some songs on there that were pretty good, and then some
Yeah.
of them was like, that's kind of just childish writing. But anyways, then I did Songs from the Heart, which was like a 5-song EP project with Jimmy. I think that was back in 2015 or 2016. And then I did a bunch of singles because it got to where
right.
in the digital world, if it ain't a
right.
single, it don't mean much. So I pushed several singles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I got about 18 songs out there on all the streaming platforms that you can listen to. And as far as some of the people I've gotten to write with, I mean, of course, I write with like you and Ben Curry and just friends that I have. In doing some of the chasing the songwriting dream in Nashville and learning from Songtown USA, the two guys that started that were Marty Dotson and Clay Mills, which if you don't know their names, you probably know their music because Marty Dotson, he was one of the guys that wrote Let Me Down Easy for Billy Currington, Everybody Wants to Go to Heaven, Kenny Chesney, and then Clay Mills, one of the probably most played songs in country music, Beautiful Mess by Diamond Rio, Don't Think I Don't Think About It by Darius Rucker, different songs like that. Even wrote a great one that I like. I don't think it went number one, but that Andy Griggs song, She Thinks She Needs Me. Mm-hmm. So just great writers. I think he's from Mississippi. But anyway, learned a lot just from those guys mentoring us and teaching us about stuff like that. And then I do a lot of solo writes too. Some of the Christian stuff I write. But I met some people through Songtown. One guy named Steve Smintek. He's written a lot of the songs, some with me, and then some that I didn't write that they sent me to record. He's got a great group of writers that he writes with. Kelly McKay. Let's see. I'm trying to think of everybody's name. I'm drawing a blank. We'll come back to it. Let me think.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. So what other? So you've got Sounds of Kickapoo. It's been out since past fall. Where can the listeners and viewers give them your spiel on where you would like them to go?
Yeah, if you want to follow me on my socials, you can find me at Zebb Rogers on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or X now, whatever it is. Yeah. You can find me at Zebb Rogers Music if you got TikTok, stuff like that. And then if you just type in my name, ZebbRogers, there's no D in Rogers. But Zebb Rogers, if you type that in, you can find me on pretty much any streaming platform that you got, YouTube and all that stuff.
Apple Music, anything.
Yep.
Pandora.
So, yeah.
All of it. Any streaming platform. So this is Zebb Rogers. So I guess we're going to take a quick break. Want to let all y'all know, as always, we're brought to you by the Sundown Tavern every Monday. HonkyTalk podcast, get the daily lunch plate special. Again, we want to thank the First Lady of Ruston, Tori Davis, for letting us use her office. And when we come back, we're going to see Zebb play one of his songs live.
Yep, let's do it.
Y'all ready?
Remember our first date when my old truck laid down on me. He said, don't worry, babe, this is right where we should be. Girl, you could have run away and found a richer man. Instead you chose to stick around. I knew right then what I want to be when my miles run out. Yeah, some people spend lifetime searching for the four-leaf clovers, thinking grass is greener, so roam from town to town. But honey, my rainbow and pot of gold is wherever we call home. And there ain't no doubt it's where I'll be when my miles run out. Well, if I'm pulling through the front gate, I see you rocking up on the front porch. Well, that I-20 ride with your feet up on that old dashboard. Girl, I wouldn't give a dang if it overheats or the whole thing just breaks down. Just by your side is where I wanna be when my miles run out. Sure do. Some people spend lifetime searching for their four-leaf clovers, thinking grass is greener, so roam from town to town. But honey, my rainbow and pot of gold is wherever we call home. There ain't no doubt it's where I'll be when my miles run out. Hey now, some people spend lifetime searching for them four-leaf clovers, thinking grass is greener as they roam from town to town. But honey, my rainbow and pot of gold is whatever we call home. mind.